Hello Internet, I am the hero of Julios once again with another One Piece chapter summary. This week's chapter is chapter 1058, The New Emperors. And may I just start by saying I was kind of right. So in the last chapter I predicted that this chapter was going to be a bit of a lore dump, and we were going to end it with a toast to Jinbei joining the crew. I was wrong about the toast. That's not how the chapter ends. But like a lot of major arcs in One Piece, a few chapters afterwards are spent bringing us up to speed on what happened in the rest of the world while the Straw Hats were having their shenanigans. And well, a lot has happened. And to start off with, let's start off with the artwork of the chapter. Let's start there. So, is as we thought, Caesar is trying to help the Germa Double Six. He is trying to get their help to leave Whole Cake Island. I'm not exactly sure why he's having a hard time leaving. The dude's made of gas. Couldn't he just make himself, super light, flat? Well, I guess if he's trying to avoid Big Mom's defenses, we don't know exactly how long Caesar can fly. So maybe he could only fly to a point where he gets to safety, but then he's above the ocean, gets tired, falls to his death. So this may be his safest bet. I am still banking on that Judge and Caesar are going to get the band back together theory, but that is still left to be determined. Going into the chapter itself, though, the Straw Hat crew is united, happy, and sailing on the high seas once again, except Luffy, who is in a cage. Luffy has been caged for his crimes against the crew for taking an unsafe jump off of a waterfall. Nami being the major enforcer of this punishment, keeping him in the cage and poking at him. Jinbei, however, is not used to angry Nami. And as soon as he's like, hey, we can just, lighten up, we survived, everyone's good, Nami just glares at him. As Nami unleashes her anger at Jinbei, however, he takes a step back and asks, whoa, is this the power of Conqueror's Haki? And Usopp and Chopper reassure him that no, this is just something you have to get used to. Do not mess with an angry Nami. So Jinbei, you still have a lot to learn joining this crew. And, well, welcome to Lesson 1. Don't make Nami angry. Comedic banter aside, however, the Straw Hat crew have finally gotten their bounty increases, and as everybody is looking at their different posters, we see the different varying reactions to having bounty increases. From those like Brooke, who are just happy to see it go up. Robin, who is almost 1 billion berries, is pretty happy about it. She's chuckling to herself. She does feed Chopper some cotton candy to help alleviate the pain. Unfortunately, Chopper did not get a really good bounty increase. Comedy comes in threes, So the first time Chopper got his bounty was 50, the second time it was 100, and now it's 1,000. So it's enough to buy a couple packs of Digimon cards if you manage to capture Chopper. My theory on this is because Wano was so closed off, no Marines actually saw what Chopper did, so even though he is actually confirmed to be the doctor of the Straw Hat crew on his bounty now, he's still considered the pet. And even though he is a Yonko's pet, you stole, the Yonko's prized cat. That's not going to do anything for the Marines. It is going to put a mark on your back, though. So for Chopper, for the most part, he's not even worth capturing by most people. Frankie, Brooke, Nami, and Usopp's bounties have all gone up the exact same amount. They have all gone up by 300 million. This leaves Usopp with the highest bounty out of the four of them at a whopping 500 million. Nami openly admits, looking at her bounty, that even she'd try to turn herself in if it worked that way. However, the MVP of worst bounty change is poor cyborg Frankie, who once again does not have a bounty higher than Usopp and doesn't even feature himself on his wanted poster. At least you could say the Frankie Shogun was Frankie. Like, Frankie was inside and he did model it after himself. This time, it's the Thousand Sunny. The ship itself has a bounty poster with just Frankie's name slapped on it. So that's great. Frankie has just become the Sanji of the crew, where your bounty isn't even you anymore. But of course, shining at the top of the crew are Zoro, Jinbei, and Sanji, who have all passed 1 billion. Now, granted, Zoro is like 1 billion, I think like 100 million, 1,100 berries, putting him like barely over Jinbei at 1.1 billion. And then I think Sanji is 1 billion, like 93 million or something like that. But that is enough for Sanji to consider this a slap to the face. He is upset mostly because Zoro's, higher bounty than him, but he's even a little bit mad at Jinbei. Of course, obviously the two of them fight about this as Luffy sadly watches them from his cage with his 3 billion bounty, and he's hungry because no one's letting him out of the cage to eat. So with that, the crew as a whole is worth over 8 billion berries, which is amazing to think about considering how far we've come. Luffy, started at 30 million, and then he and Zoro together were almost 200 million. Like, as far as the numbers game goes, the Straw Hat crew, if you were to capture all of them and you were able to turn them in alive for the full bounty, you would basically have your life set. I mean, obviously, I don't think you would ever be able to pull that off, but if you did. So, congratulations, Straw Hat Crew. You have numbers worthy of a Yonko. And his 9 commanders. Which is interesting that Oda makes a point to narrate it that way, that's what the newspaper says. It is Straw Hat Luffy the Yonko and his 9 commanders. Even the 1,000 berry Chopper. They are his 9 commanders, the leader of the 56,000 manned Straw Hat Grand Fleet. With 9 commanders at his side, Luffy is about the same size as Blackbeard's armada, where Blackbeard has his 10 Titanic commanders. Personally, I think this might mean that his 10th commander really is someone like Aokiji, who is just a double agent who's going to betray him or just sit on the sidelines while they truly duke it out. I think the Straw Hat Crew is ready to face off against another Yonko as Yonko versus Yonko. Like, there's no like additional army of samurai helping them this time. But speaking of the 4 Emperors of the Sea, we get to also take a little peek at Cross Guild and the history of how that came to be. Because let me tell you, everybody's been wondering, why is Buggy an emperor? Turns out, it absolutely is marketing. But it's not the way Buggy wanted it marketed. So we cut into Crocodile and Mihawk basically manhandling Buggy and telling him, hey, you want to explain how you're the one in charge of this group, as Buggy is crying and begging for his life? It turns out it all started back when the Warlord system was first, cut away. Crocodile approached Mihawk asking him if he would like to team up and start Cross Guild, a marine hunting service that will pay pirates to take out marines, but in order to do so, Crocodile needed capital. So he decided to go to his favorite clown and get money back that he loaned Buggy. Yeah, apparently Buggy's rental service was actually founded with money Buggy borrowed from Crocodile. I guess Crocodile saw some investment opportunities in Buggy. And for the most part, I mean, it did probably pay back pretty well, but apparently not well enough for Crocodile. Fortunately for Crocodile, Buggy has thousands of followers who will do anything he says, and with that, Crocodile, while not having the starting capital, did have the starting manpower to make Cross Guild happen. Unfortunately for Crocodile, Buggy's followers love Buggy a lot. To the point where, when Buggy told them to make flyers and send it out to the world, they made flyers that make it look like Buggy is in charge, instead of Crocodile or Mihawk. But before Crocodile dries Buggy up and leaves him to the sharks, Mihawk actually brings up a fantastic plan. Hey, you and me are free to do whatever we want, and Buggy, as the emperor and leader, is the fall guy. If something bad happens, we just say, it was Buggy's idea. And if, the Marines finally come for us, or Buggy proves to be too much of a nuisance, we sacrifice him and go about our lives. So with that, Buggy once again critically succeeds into a critical fail. Because that's just what Buggy's life has become. As the Cross Guild leaders are showing themselves off to their new followers, we get a cut to the Marine base, where we finally learn of Crocodile's bounty increase ever since the crazy things that have happened with him, as well as Mihawk's bounty, which was, I assume, frozen back when he first became a warlord, and Buggy's bounty, which, weirdly enough, is lower than Mihawk's. Mihawk has a bounty of 3.59 billion. Buggy got 3.189. I know, very arbitrary numbers. If you're curious, Crocodile is 1.98 billion, but I'm guessing that's just because he was the leader of a criminal organization, broke out of jail, and not much else is really known about him, except that he is a member of Cross Guild. So, this is the first time we've ever seen a captain whose follower has a higher bounty than him. Which is kind of interesting, if I'm being honest. So I'm interested to see where that goes. How many more crazy things are going to happen to Buggy? How high can this clown fly in the world of One Piece? The chapter then ends with 2 pages based on the Revolutionary Army. They have finally regrouped back together, having saved Kuma, and they're kind of getting their thoughts together about Sabo and what they're going to do about him, and what they're going to do for him. Meanwhile, we have Dragon off to the side with Kuma, asking him, "What did you see while you were there?" To which Kuma responds with, "As you command." So he's still a robot, he's still programmed, but it seems like he's not programmed specifically for celestial dragons, he's just programmed to dish out to whoever has him, which is a horrible flaw in the computer design, but for the most part, the celestial dragons, being full of themselves as they are, probably assumed no one was ever going to take Kuma away. So why add that extra programming of facial recognition when it could just be whoever is holding on to his reins? I'm hoping we learn more about what Kuma saw, and maybe we'll even figure out a way to get him back. Judging from everything Sabo said about him and Ivankov, he seems like a really nice guy. I mean, he saved the Straw Hat crew. He's very loyal to Dragon, so I would love to know more about the Sorbet Kingdom. But for now, the only thing we get is a transponder snail ringing, Koala picking it up, and the voice on the other side saying, "It's me, Sabo." And that's it for this chapter. So, did a lot happen? No. Did we learn a lot of things? Yeah, actually, we got a few bounty increases. We learned how Buggy became the leader of Cross Guild, which is nice, because I'm sure that's been a head-scratcher for a lot of people, myself included. And I'm going to say next chapter, we're going to learn about what happened with Sabo. So, get ready for a few learning chapters, though no new chapter next week. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you are as well. Thank you for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. This is the Hero of Julios, Xing out.